Come to beastsofwar.com and comment every day for your chance to win 2-player mega bundles.
Hello everybody, I am here with James and we are here to have a chat about the campaign that you came up with for the bootcamp. And we have this beautiful map of, well, North Africa, of course, because that's where we're fighting. So in the middle here you can see Alamein. James, I'm a little confused here. I don't know how to read this. I don't read good.
Welcome everyone to part 1 of How to Read Military Maps, alternatively titled, How Do I Make Sense of This Gibberish? Okay, so seriously, we're going to be having a very light, very easy kind of a campaign structure set up for this weekend's Flames of War 4th edition bootcamp set in the battles, plural, of Alamein. So we have this campaign map set up. First of all, huge thanks and kudos to Lloyd for printing this thing out for me. I was trying to print it out and bring it on a plane. 4x4 map on a plane doesn't fit in the overhead bins very well. Thanks very much, Lloyd, for that again. So before we got too deep into all these campaign battles and stuff like that we're going to be running, we thought it would be a good idea to take just a second and go through what all these symbols actually mean and how to actually read a military map, because there is a sense to it, there is a logic to it. So we're just going to go through it really quick.
So, where do we begin?
Yeah, okay. So number one, there are many kinds of military maps in different systems. This is the standard NATO model. Obviously, they weren't using this in World War II, but whenever you look at a military map nowadays, this is the system that they're pretty much using. So you may see others out there, but this is the one that people are using. So the first thing that we have, obviously each one of these little squares is a large flag level unit. Flag level unit is a battalion, well actually not really battalion, I'm sorry, a brigade, a division, a corps, something that a general commands. Okay, so this is way above like something you see on the tabletop.
Yeah.
Down here, just barely you can see it is the scale. Each one of those little black and white boxes is 10 miles. A boot camp table, we're playing on 4x6 tables, so that's 600 meters. Several of those maps, maybe 20 of those maps could fit in each one of those boxes. So this is really zoomed out. We're looking at the whole thing.
Well, if people are a little confused by this, if you go back, you actually did a great article series on the levels of wargaming.
My very first article series. You always remember your first time. The very first article series I did for Beasts of War was on the 4 levels of wargaming. Yeah. This is what we call the operational scale. So this is like level 3 of the 4 levels of wargaming. So just to quickly put a bracket around it, from here to there is about 40 miles. So what are these units and what does all this stuff mean? So obviously we have several colors of units. The color donates the nationality. So we have our British units or Allied units, right? Because there are some New Zealanders, Indians, Australians, etc. Gray typically is German, and the yellows are the Italians. We also have free French units and even some free Greeks that were participating in the battles of Alamein.
Oh, lovely.
So yeah, it's a very multinational battle. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at in this series, or in this video, because we're going to do a couple of these today, is what type of unit this is. And really quickly, really basically, the ones with the X start off as way back when West Point was first coming out with these, it's supposed to represent 2 crossed rifles, or sometimes 2 crossed swords. That's infantry.
Okay.
Infantry are the ones with the 2 lines that go through the center of the box.
Yeah, okay.
1st South African Division, 2nd New Zealand Division, and so on. Yeah. The ones with this little oval look suspiciously like the treads of a tank, the tracks of a tank. Those are armored units. Very, very complex. Right?
Okay, so
ones that look like tanks.
I'm seeing, we have a lot more infantry on the Allied side than on the German side, but the Germans have superiority in panzers.
Well, yeah, what we're looking at here is the battle's kind of set up for the very first battle of Alamein, which actually takes place way back in July. Germans are still pretty much on the offensive. The British are still on the back foot. This, as the boot camp progresses, we're going to see this radically change. We're going to see a lot more orange on this map by the time the weekend is over, and these gray units start getting a little bit more thin on the ground. So,
well, who knows? We might change history this weekend.
This is very true. We have the pieces for it just in case we go in a radically different direction. The ones that are kind of combined between the two, is mechanized or motorized infantry. So it's armored, it's tracked, that's hence a little track symbol in there, and also has the 2 lines and an X, so it's also infantry.
And what about this one that's sort of a half one, 90 light on the
90th light.
side?
So way back in the day, you would have it's basically half of an infantry division. You have the outside box, obviously, and without the tank track in the center, you just have a line through it. That's cavalry. So if you're looking at like Napoleonics or American Civil War, you see no armored. You see lots of infantry, and then the ones that are just one line straight across is cavalry. 90th Light is sort of can be thought of as an armored or mechanized cavalry division. It's a light division.
Okay.
Not really a tank division, not really infantry, but much more mobile. Up here, we have these ones that have like this little, almost looks like a little parachute falling out of the sky.
Full bore.
We have one, we have one also for the Germans. These are airborne units. And then lastly, we have, again, another recon unit, or a recon battalion. Again, almost like armored cavalry. And then this one that looks like a little anti-tank gun pointing up is either a flak. Technically, flak has an arrow pointing into the sky. It's anti-aircraft. But as we all know, Germans had a lot of 88s, which were technically flak guns. People like to use them as anti-tank guns. Yeah. So it's being iconed as an anti-tank unit.
Okay.
And then these other ones, these larger boxes, like the small ones are a certain size. Then the other divisions, these really large ones, are the corps. There's no real type here. This is just the number of the corps. Right. 30 Corps, 13th Corps, 10th, 20th, 21st Italian Corps. DAK stands for Deutsches Afrika Korps, German Africa Corps.
Okay, cool. So now we know how to read the map. Our next video, what are we covering in that?
We're going to cover in the next video what size these units are. So when we play a miniature game, we have like 10 tanks or whatever, couple infantry on the board, and then okay, what is that? That's a company. What's a company? What's that versus a platoon versus a regiment, brigade, division, corps? How many tabletop armies would you really need to build 5th Panzer Regiment? You would need a lot. So we're going to go through all these and show like just how big it is, because we might be looking at, okay, we have 1st Armored Division here attacking 5th Panzer Regiment. Yeah. Okay, how big is a division and how big is a regiment, and what does that battle actually look like? Yeah. And that's this little part on the top we're going to go over, and a few other odds and ends on the map. And that'll be the second part of the video, which we'll be doing shortly.
We'll see you there.